Welcome back to the welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. I'm Jim Hacking. This is a special Friday pop-up edition of episode 409. All you suckers, I told you I wasn't going to do a show today. Here I am doing a show today. This is why you need to be on our text list. This is why the waiting room is already halfway full, because some smart people like Dave and Jamal and Rakesh and Kare, they know what's what. And they texted the word show to 314-470-3300. That's how they knew that I was going to do a show before all of you. So if you haven't done that yet, you should get on there. It's free. It's how we let people know when we're going to do a special show. I'm not going to do a show most likely on Monday, which is why I'm doing today's extra show. This is our 5th show of the week. It will be our last show of the week. Tomorrow is softball. Hey, look, we're getting greetings from Italy. We got Joan saying hi. Everybody, let me know where you're watching from. Let's try to have some fun today. It's been a heavy week. We've had some tough cases, some sad cases. Let's lift each other up. Let's be a little bit positive. Let's try to have some fun, hopefully at the expense of USCIS and the State Department. If anybody has any jokes or wants to chime in about how dumb they are, I'm here for it. So let's do it. Let us know. We got Phoenix in the house. Shana's in Phoenix. We got Tony's in San Francisco. How about that? And I'm going to knock out as many as we can in this hour. Julian's in London. All right. There's our friend Julian. And we got the waiting room's almost full. I'm going to get this party started. Hoolie's watching the boards. And we'll let you guys, she'll share where the waiting room is, and she'll make sure that you all are on your best behavior. Remember, no complaining to Hoolie about not being able to get into the waiting room. And I don't generally answer questions in the messages because they just come by too darn fast. So with that being said, we're going to get started with Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Jim. Good day. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's Friday.
I have a couple questions about obtaining a FOIA. When do you recommend a person should try to obtain their FOIA? Only when the case is in trouble, or they should have it like beforehand before they present the case to you?
I would say before they, if they have a complicated immigration history, I would file the FOIA before I file the underlying case. Now, if it's a naturalization case, my understanding is that if you have a pending naturalization case and you file a FOIA, that the FOIA supersedes the naturalization case, and they pull your case out of line, deal with the FOIA, then put it back at the back of the line. That's my understanding. So, like, we've had situations where people have a long pending NATS case, they get their interview notice, and then they file for a FOIA, and that actually gets their interview canceled. So you got to be a little bit strategic, a little bit careful about it. But generally, I would say either before you file or after. I'm not a big fan of doing it in the middle just because it slows everything down.
Okay, and another question: a FOIA for a 20-year-old kid who came probably 10 years ago, does it fall under the parents, or does he have his own file?
Does he have a green card?
Yeah.
I would request both. I would have the parents request theirs and the kid request his. I'd have everybody do it.
So it doesn't shine a light on the case or anything? Like,
Oh, like, like you're asking if the act of filing a FOIA makes USCIS look at a case more carefully? No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's a totally different deal.
So I think you guys are doing my my son's case. So I'm gonna send you guys an email to probably request the other one as well.
Yeah, sure. And yeah. That's fine.
All right. Thank you. That's all for now. Thank you.
Hi, Dave. See you, buddy. Thanks. Oh, look who's here. Yep. Nurse Laura is here. Hello, Nurse Laura. Adamola is watching from Nigeria. How about that? I know we got a good fan base in Nigeria. That's all there is to that. So let's say hi to Jamal. Hello, Jamal.
Hello. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Hanging in there. It's a hot Friday over here in Virginia.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be in Virginia in 2 weeks taking my son. He'll be a junior at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. So I'll be up your way in a couple weeks.
Very nice.
What's up?
So my question is regarding it's relating to a marriage I-130. I think we spoke before about the marriages getting ready to take place at the end of the year. So what my question is because I'm kind of pretty new to this I-130 process.
Okay.
So because the wife is from overseas. She's not in the United States. She's in Nigeria, but she's currently still over there. So what I've been seeing online is, oh, you need evidence of like a shared lease and things like that. But do you need a shared lease for if it's going through consular processing or no?
No, no, there's no one would expect you to have a lease. So you need to everything needs to be reasonable. So if you've never lived together and you don't have a lease, you don't have a lease. So that just means you have to prove the relationship by other means. Now, the government expects different levels of paperwork based on your actual situation. So if you were both living in the same city and you didn't have a lease, or you're living in two different addresses, that would cause them concern. But if one person's living overseas, they sort of understand that. So in looking at any kind of marriage list, you only do the stuff that's actually available.
Oh, okay. And then my other my other question is, every time I check these price processing times, I don't know if you're noticing it, but it seems like every month, every time it's like the process times just keep going up and up and up. Is it seem like, is the backlog getting worse, or is it USCIS just dragging their feet? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yes, both of those things are true. In fact, I just mean tweeted at USCIS's Twitter account because they said, once your case has been beyond stated processing times, then you can make a service request. And I said, oh, I see what you did there. You just keep pushing back processing time so nobody can bother you. And that's what they're doing. So yes, they keep pushing it back. The backlog is not getting better. And they just keep pushing it back so that when they go into court, when we sue them, they can say, oh, well, this is going in accordance with all other cases that have been delayed.
So should we? So let's say I follow. I'm assuming I'm following this like in January, and let's say
Are
they
you
keep
already
pushing.
married? Are you already married?
We're married. I'm getting married in about 6 months, about 5 months, basically
Oh,
December of this year.
okay. So
So they follow. Yeah, I
you
can't file
can't
till
file till then
January.
anyway. Yep.
So
Okay.
if they
Thanks,
take more than
Jamal.
like a year,
Yeah, it'll be a year probably at USCIS, and then you got to deal with the National Visa Center. Then you have to deal with Nigeria, which is slow.
gotcha. All right, thank you so much.
Bye, buddy. See you, Jamal. All right, that was our friend Jamal. He was back. We're always happy to see people more than once, and Jamal's a nice fellow, so we're always happy to answer his questions. Let's say hi to Jackie. What do you say, Jackie?
Oh, hi, James. Thank you for everything you do. My friend's case got approved. We followed all the advice you gave us. So, okay, I have
Awesome.
three questions. Number one, after you get naturalization, can you change your name and give yourself like a brand new name, or you have to kind of keep the name?
You mean during the naturalization process or after?
No, during like the name
Yeah.
change.
Oh, that brings up my favorite story. So I had a client from Iraq, and
Mm-hmm.
he had, let's say his name was Muhammad Ali. He had a
Yeah.
very Iraqi kind of a name, or Muhammad Hamid, let's say. And we went to immigration, and he told the officer, I want to change my name to John Connor. So he wanted to go from Muhammad Hamid to John Connor. And the officer, I don't know, that name probably doesn't mean anything to you, John Connor, does it, Jackie?
No.
So the officer looks at me, and he looks at him, and he looks at me, and he looks at him, and he goes, are you a fan of the Terminator? Because John Connor is a big character in the Terminator. And he said,
Oh.
yes, I am. So he changed his name during the naturalization process from Muhammad Hamid, that wasn't really his name,
Mm-hmm.
to John Connor. Now, here's the crazy thing. I don't understand this, but my understanding is that one thing that can cause naturalization cases to go a little bit, I mean, first of all, anytime you have a name change in naturalization, it's going to slow down the process. And
Oh.
I always knew it slowed down the process because if you're doing a name change, you have to go to federal court when you naturalize. You can't do it administratively at the local immigration office. So, like in San Diego, if you get approved for naturalization, they take you upstairs and you get naturalized that day. But if you say, I'm here in San Diego and I want to change my name from Muhammad Hamid to John Connor, then you've got to go to federal court and you got to wait longer for a court date to see the judge. That's one reason. But I learned another reason why name changes make the cases take longer, and that is USCIS actually does a background check on the name that you want to switch to. So you've made up a whole new name, but they're going to do a background check on that name before they let you get your citizenship.
But that's a new name, so how is there going to be anything for just something new? I don't
Exactly.
understand.
Exactly.
Okay, well, the other question is her mom changed her name, so her mom's name is different from what is on her date of birth, her birth certificate. Would
Yeah.
that be a problem when she wants to file for her mom?
Wait, her mom changed her name. Okay, so you're talking about mom changed her name like back in the home country, not during the naturalization process. Now,
Yes.
so my name's Mary. My mother's name is Josephine
Yes.
Jacobs. On my
Yes.
birth certificate it says Josephine Jacobs, but now
Right.
mom's name is Tyla.
Right.
So, yeah, so she's just gonna have to prove it up. You're gonna, I mean, it is gonna slow things down, but she's gonna have to prove that the person went to court and changed their name, and she's gonna have to explain all that. So yeah, that's gonna confuse them. That'll slow things down.
Oh, okay. Last question. Okay, so my other friend filed for asylum. She never got called, married a US citizen, got her green card, and she didn't have an interview. But then on her 485, she did not put that. You know how they ask you, have you been arrested, blah, blah, blah. She didn't put that. She thought she was going to explain that after she goes to the interview, but she didn't get an interview. Is that going to be a problem for the naturalization, and how do you fix that?
Yeah. This is something that I'm worried about. We've talked about it here in the office, and that is because USCIS is waiving interviews.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be really careful about not making any mistakes, especially about things that might keep you from getting your green card.
Yeah.
If there's anything like criminal related or out of status related or other important things, if you don't put that in the I-45,
Yeah.
I can see them holding that against you when you apply for citizenship. And that's really going to be true if Trump gets reelected and his people are the ones deciding whether or not you get citizenship, because they're going to say, oh ho, you lied when you got your green card. We're going to come after we're not only not going to give you your citizenship, we're also going to go back and try to take your green card away.
Because what she explains is she thought that she was being asked, like, did you get arrested in the US, which was not the US, was her home country, so that for the asylum case. So I don't know how they fix that.
So that's sort of, she's sort of screwed, because they probably know in the asylum case that she had been arrested, and then she didn't put it in the 45. That's a big problem.
Okay. All right. I will let her know. Thank you.
Bye, Jackie. All right. So I want to follow up on that point that Jackie just made. So today I read a decision on a naturalization case. This was actually a case we filed a lawsuit on, and this fellow was from Sudan, and he got asylum in the United States. And in the asylum application, one of the reasons that he was given asylum, and this was 20 years ago, was he was a member of a political party, and he talked long and in detail about how he's a member of this political party back in Sudan. And so he got approved for asylum. Then later he applied for his green card. And even though he had listed all these groups that he'd been a member of on his asylum application, and even though it was sort of like the basis of his asylum case, he filed the green card case without a lawyer. And when he filed the green card case without a lawyer, when they asked the question, have you ever been a member of any groups, clubs, societies, organizations, blah, 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 he put no. And his green card got approved. The officer didn't look at the asylum file. The officer acted very quickly and missed the fact that this fellow had undoubtedly been a member of groups, and he hadn't listed them. So he applied for citizenship, and now it turns out that this group that he had listed is now on the terrorist list in the United States. So that's a whole other issue. The fact that the United States turns on and off terrorist designations for certain organizations. These might be organizations that the United States supported at the time that our guy was a member, and then now they don't. So that's a whole other issue. You always need to be worried about that. But the bigger issue is that he didn't list this organization in his green card, and it was because he didn't have a lawyer. So people ask me all the time, well, why do I need a lawyer? I already got asylum. Why do I need a lawyer to get my green card? And it's because you don't know why they're asking the questions. The questions are very detailed, and they're all designed to find out whether or not you are inadmissible. And the real fact is that when it comes to asylum, there are plenty of people walking around in the United States who are granted asylum who are never going to get a green card. That's a real thing. So you can't assume that just because you got asylum, even if it took a long time, that now you're safe and now it's okay to just go ahead and apply for your green card. You don't know what you don't know. And that's like, if I had to come up with a list of 3 things that people really need to understand about immigration, is you don't know what you don't know. And that's a real problem. So, all right, I'm going to get on to some more questions. Let's say hi to SV. Hello, SV. You're on mute.
Oh, happy Friday.
Same to you.
So I'm actually a U.S. citizen, but my girlfriend, she's a J1 visa holder,
Okay.
which expires next year in June. We plan to marry by the end of this year. She's going to be applying for a residency, for a medical residency.
Yes.
And if she gets the residency, she'll start in June, and the hospital will sponsor her for 3 years.
On an
And then
H-1B?
Sorry?
On an H-1B?
J1 visa, usually the
She'll stay on the
residency.
She'll stay on the J1 during the residency.
Yeah, the 3 years, and then she'll finish, and then she would have to do the 2 years. What do you call it? That 2 years waiver thing. She would have to go back to India, but apparently, when you do residency here in America, you can do 2 years here, like you work in a rural setting in America, which fulfills the 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's 3. It's 3 or 5 years. I think it's more than 2.
Okay.
I think it's 5.
And if you get married this year, how fast can she like change her status away from J1 and just stay in the US?
She can't. She has to satisfy that requirement. She can't adjust. If she's subject to Rule 212E, the simple fact of marrying a U.S. citizen does not cure that obligation. And in order to be able to adjust through marriage to a U.S. citizen, she'd have to satisfy that requirement or get it waived.
And how easy is, or not easy, but the
It's
waiver?
Hard. It's very hard. Getting the green card's easy compared to that. It's very hard. If she's a doctor, they're most likely going to force her to participate in that program and go work in a rural area or apply for a waiver. But, India is going to be a hard country to get a waiver from because it's not like it's an unsafe place or something like that. So I think you should think long and hard about the timing of everything, because just getting married to you, that's not going to do much as far as her immigration problem. She's got this big obligation to go back home for 2 years. And for doctors, you pretty much have to do that working in a small, rural, underserved area to get out from under it.
Okay. Because from what I heard, if you do residency in America and the hospital sponsors you those 3 years, you can actually just still stay in the U.S. and work.
Yeah, you can. But you have to work in one of those rural or underserved areas. Like here in St. Louis, you can work at the VA hospital, the Veterans Affairs Hospital. Yeah.
As she can still stay in the U.S. basically.
Yeah, but until she does all that, she can't get a green card, even though she's married to a U.S. citizen.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You got it. Good luck and congrats. Hello, Yura.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm great.
I have 2 questions, and hopefully this rings a bell. Initially, when you spoke to my husband, Prince, and I, you told us to submit a request for an FOIA, and we did that. And it came back, they said they couldn't find anything. So we submitted a subsequent request, and we submitted a subsequent request via mail because their letter stated that in order to submit a subsequent request, you have to mail the request in. You can't do it online. And so we waited to see if we got any updates or to see if it showed the status change that they had received the subsequent request. Nothing in there. So I reached out to them to say, hey, we know you guys have received our subsequent request because I sent it via certified mail. It shows you guys got it. Can we get an update or at least a control number or something like that? Their response to us was, you'll get a control number when we receive it, and we suggest the quickest process is for you to do it online. How can we do it online if you guys told us to submit it by mail? It's like they don't understand their own processes. And so I'm just wondering, should we try to submit a subsequent request online, even though we've already done it the way they told us to do it? Or should I just try to get someone on the phone to maybe ask the question, because the folks answering the emails don't seem to understand their process? How should we proceed with this?
Princess, this is gonna take a while. This is gonna take a while.
Okay.
And I'm all about busting on them on their dumb behavior, but you've got to let the process run its course. I mean, I was surprised at how fast you got the notice back from them saying there wasn't anything.
Okay.
So I actually feel like you're ahead of the game right now.
Okay.
So you're already on to the next stage. I'd give them at least 90 to 120 days before I start buying. I mean, usually a FOIA takes 6 or 8 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So and you're asking them to find stuff that they've already looked for. And so, I mean, do you have kids? Like when I send my kids downstairs, like to find me a soda or something, they're like, Dad, I can't find it. Where is it? You know, it's like, that's who you're dealing with.
Okay. No, I don't have any, but I get it. I definitely get it. Okay. So we need to be patient.
It's going to take some time.
Okay. So then my next question is, because we wanted to make sure that we got the results from the FOIA request before we submit our I-130, should we continue to wait to submit our I-130? Because you said it made sense for us to know what's in that FOIA request before we submitted it. So should we continue to wait?
What I would do is I would have everything ready to file.
Ready.
Yeah. And then I would wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
I was worried about the FOIA. I'm still worried about the FOIA. So I still vote yes for that.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. And then my other question is, if we have to wait to submit our I-130 because we're trying to, see what's in the FOIA, what they're going to find, are we able to, well, I know we're able to, but does it make sense to complete, I think it's called the B2 visa or visitor visa? Like, can we do that for my husband to visit while we're waiting on all this other stuff? Do you think we would be able to get approved for that?
I do not.
Okay. So that would be a waste of money to even do that.
I mean, he's married to a U.S. citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a prior denial. So no, so he's already demonstrated immigrant intent. So no, I think that would be a waste of money.
Okay. So even if I needed to have him come here to assist with a medical procedure and we had documentation outlining that, they wouldn't care?
No.
Okay. Okay. That's basically what we needed to know. So that makes sense. So we'll save our money and not do that. We'll hold off on the I-130 until that FOIA, that second subsequent research or whatever gets done. Okay.
Thanks, Princess.
Thank you. Bye, Jim.
Bye, Yura. See ya. All right. Our friend Rakesh is back. What do you say, Rakesh? You're on mute, buddy. Rakesh, you're on mute.
Sorry,
Okay.
Jim. Good afternoon.
No worries. Same to you.
Thank you. Okay. Jim, I spoke with you yesterday. Thanks for providing the information on my query. I had a few follow-ups regarding that. As I explained to you yesterday that one of my friend's son went for interview for naturalization and they didn't approve the case and they didn't even deny the case because he stayed out of country for more than 6 months, 6 months and 12 days.
Oh, yeah. I remember at the beginning, right?
Yeah, at the beginning, as soon as he got the green card, he went back. And okay, so my follow-up questions are, yesterday you advised that if you get RFE, it is best to withdraw this application and submit a new N400. Any specific reason for that?
The reason for that is that the N400 as filed is not approvable. They're not going to approve the N400. I mean, if they send you an approval notice, that's great, but I don't think they're going to. If they send you anything else, I think that he filed this case too soon.
Okay.
So the reason that I would withdraw it now is so that he can file the new one, right? Because you could waste 6 or 8 months waiting for them to do their thing on the old case when I'm 90% sure it's not approvable.
Okay.
Now,
And Jim,
Rakesh, you might say, you might call me 2 weeks from now and say, "Hey, Jim, guess what?" I said, "What?" You said, "I got good news." I said, "What?" You said, "My friend's son's N400 got approved." Wouldn't shock me.
okay.
But I think from a technical standpoint, it's not approvable. So whatever you want to do, I'm cool with.
Okay. So it won't have any negative effects, but it will delay the process, you mean to say?
It's the delay I'm worried about. It's not the. I mean, I would think that if it did get denied, they would say what I just said, that it was filed too soon. And sometimes in the N400 denials, they say you can't apply for 3 more years or 4 more years. I don't think that would be in there.
Okay.
It's more a matter of just the time you're going to lose waiting for them to adjudicate this N400, which I think is fatally defective.
Okay. And Jim, one more question. If we submit a new application now, because we are in the month of August and it's all more than 5 years from July 7, 2017, sorry, 2018.
Which was the end of the long trip, right?
Exactly. So what he needs to say that answer the question, he stays more than 6 months out of USA, yes or no?
Well, it says in the last 5 years.
Okay. So that's the last 5 years. So in that case, it's no.
Right.
And then the case is straightforward.
And then I think he's good to go. That's what I always say, Rakesh, is part of my job is to take away reasons for them to say no. Like I'll look through a file and I'll say, no, we're not filing now because of that, or no, we're not filing here because of that, or no, we're not including that piece of evidence unless we have to, that kind of stuff. That's a big part of what I spend my time doing. And that's what you need to be thinking about with our friend.
Okay, got you. And you still feel that his admission from University of Florida or his SSN card or his lease, which he signed in the month of June 2017 after getting admission in University of Florida, will be of any help?
When did he land in the United States?
He came back on July 7th.
No. When did he land when he first got his green card? When did he land?
He came here on December 5th, 2017.
And then he received his green card that month?
Yeah.
And when did he leave?
December 26th, 2017.
Yeah, so he was here 2 weeks.
Yeah, he stayed here for 3 weeks, I can say.
And then he was gone for 6 months and 12 days.
Exactly.
So in my book, he did not begin to reside here. I've seen this case before. I've read these decisions. Their position will be that he did not truly reside in the United. And don't forget, what country is he from, Rakesh?
India.
Yeah. So don't forget, they're happy to turn down people from India. So they their position is that he did not begin his residency until after that first trip. That really the trip here to come and pick up his green card was like a visit, and it doesn't count towards residency. I don't know that they're legally correct on that, but I know that's how they hold. And I don't want him to have that fight. I want him to just say, screw all that. I'm reapplying.
Okay, that's great. And Jim, yesterday you also asked me that did he has green card when he left? So I told you yes, but actually he didn't.
Yeah. So that hurts too. Yeah. So, I mean, just for everybody watching, you should always wait to leave the United States until you have the actual green card. So that just supports their position that he wasn't even really here.
Okay, got you. And Jim, what do you advise if someone went back with a re-entry permit and came back after 2 years? When he or she should apply for naturalization?
Well, remember, when you have your green card, there's two things that you always have to keep in mind. One is, how do I not break my residency by being out of the United States for more than 6 months? And the other one is, how do I make sure I don't lose my green card? The reentry permit keeps him from losing his green card, but it doesn't fix that 6-month problem. You can try to overcome it by demonstrating, well, I kept my house, I kept my bank account, I paid my taxes, all that other stuff. But if they're like a young person who left and got a reentry permit, I think that's going to be a really hard argument to make. And I think they have to wait 4 years and 1 day from when they came back from the big trip.
Okay, 4 years or 1 day, or just it's better to wait for full 5 years when he came back?
I'm cool with 5, but you don't have to. 4 in a day is fine.
So in that case, the answer to that question, yes, I was out of country for more than 6 months, is yes.
Yeah.
But that won't basically will be a problem at the time
if it's in the statute. Oh, you mean if you do it on the 4 year and 1 month thing?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're going to want to invoke that rule. Like most officers, I think, know that rule, but I would be ready to like cite it at the interview. Like you're going to need to be able to walk them through that 4 year and a day rule.
Got you. And Jim, that's all I have. Thank you very much for your
Bye,
all advice. It's always wonderful to watch your show. It's really helpful.
bye, Rakesh. See you, buddy. Always like
Thank
talking
you.
to you.
Take
See
care.
ya.
Bye.
Okay,
Have a
bye.
nice.
What a nice guy he is. I like talking to Rakesh. He always makes me happy. Speaking of making me happy, you know, old Shabazz was here yesterday. I don't know if you guys caught that. And I think we said that if Shabazz gets his I-130 approved without me suing, we're going to have a dance party for Shabazz. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Car Ray is here. What up, Car Ray?
Hello.
How
Hello,
you
Jim.
doing?
I have a good. I have a question. Um, so I'm gonna start with the question and then give you some context. So my question will be: do I need to continue with the lawyer I have and wait, or do I need to get my case reviewed by fresh eyes?
Okay.
So 2004 is when myself I
Our story, our
entered.
story, our story begins in 2004, 19 years ago.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, lay it on me. I'm ready.
Yeah, F1 entered, um, fell out of, well, I don't know what came first. Okay, took a medical leave. I had OPT at some point, took medical leave 2012, but didn't end up going back to school, so dropped out of status. Um, but spouse is LPR and did I-130 that never got approved back in 2015. Still waiting. Um, so mom is U.S. citizen, did the I-130, got approved, but still waiting on visa in 2018. So prior, now those two I-130s were filed by a different lawyer, but I kind of didn't feel like he was advocating. So especially after my husband's I-130 got current, like the visa got current, the priority date. So after 2 years, I just went to another lawyer.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Why hasn't your husband gotten his citizenship?
He did. He did. Um, let me see. Let me see if I can answer this right. He filed his N-400, but he was rejected. Or
Why?
he was declined.
Why?
I'm not sure exactly what the reason is, but then he was issued an NTA.
So his green card is in trouble. So okay. All right. So right now you're telling me I have an I-130 filed by someone whose green card, did he get deported or is he still here?
He's still here.
And he's in removal.
Yes, he hasn't had his case yet, but yes.
And your mother's a
He has
U.S.
an
citizen, and she filed an I-130 petition for you like 8 years ago.
No, hers is more like, I want to say 5.
Okay. So what's the question?
Yeah. So my question is, so finally, okay, my second lawyer actually just did a mandamus a few weeks ago, but then and the reason why I'm kind of having doubts at this time is he was supposed to do a 3042B last year, but we agreed, I retained, we had an agreement, brought all the
Wait. Hold
documentation.
on. A 42B for you, so you're in
For
removal too?
myself. I'm in removal for overstay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a mandamus on the I-130 filed by the husband?
Husband, yes. Because it's been 7 years. 7 years, 8 years.
How did that husband get his green card?
Marriage. He was married before.
And why did they deny his citizenship and put him in removal?
That's something I'm not really clear about. That file is still with the old lawyer who yeah, there's reasons why we moved from the first one. We don't really have much info.
Listen, my friend, your problems and these problems, this has nothing to do with the lawyer. Nothing to do with the lawyer. This is a mess of a case. You have nothing. You have nothing. If your mom's case became current, you're not an immediate relative. You're out of status. You can't adjust. And if your husband's in removal and they're sitting on your I-130, it's because they think they probably, most likely, they denied his citizenship because they think, and they put him in removal. I'm just guessing, because they think his marriage to wife number one was fraudulent, and that's so you're on the shakiest of grounds.
Okay.
So changing lawyers is like rearranging. Have you ever heard the phrase rearranging the chairs on the deck of the Titanic? I mean,
yes.
yeah, this ship is going down. You don't have anything, and you keep reminding them that you're here. So when you were going to do the 42B, who was the qualifying relative?
Qualifying relative. My
for the
3
hardship.
kids.
So
3 children, 2 daughters, 1 boy.
Do you have an individual hearing, or what's the deal?
I have had a master. I have an individual in 2 years.
Okay, so what is your question for me?
Yeah, so I get that. I now get that point where you're saying it's complex, but so just wait for the system to play itself out, basically.
I don't know why in the world you would file a mandamus case on that's insane to me.
Really?
Especially if you or your husband don't know why he got his N400 denied. I mean, that's the key to the whole thing. If he got denied for the reason I think he did, which is that they think the marriage that gave him the green card in the first place was fraudulent, the last thing you want to do is file a mandamus case and say, hey, look at this. I mean, mandamus is a way to get them to look at the case, which is a great thing, except when your case is a mess. This is really tough.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not the one who filed it. I just followed the advice of the attorney. So, and that's what I'm saying. If
I would back away from everything you got going and just focus on the removal case and making the waiver case strong when the time comes.
I mean, so I guess the not the strategy, but the idea right now would be to just because one thing we wanted to see if we can obtain is a work permit. So, are there any chances that they might?
You might be able to get a work permit through removal, but everything's. I mean, that's the least of your concerns. That's the I mean, you've got to get on top of your case. You don't know why your husband is in removal. That's mind-boggling to me. I mean, if my spouse were in removal, I would know exactly why they're in removal.
Yeah, just another. Okay. All
right, I got to go.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good luck. That was interesting. Let's talk to Yanev. Hi, Yanev.
Hey, Jim. Thank you for picking me.
Sure.
I just wanted to know. I've got an I-485 NOID notice. I have EB1C, approved I-140, and the reason they stated is that I have not established that I live and work in United States. I had starting, in the February last year, I'd gone back to my home country for 3 months while I was working remotely, and that's what they have stated. So I wanted to know, what can I do with this?
What's the basis of the adjustment? Why? How are you adjusting?
EB1C 140.
Yep. Got it. And I would love to see that NOID if you want to send it to me and we can talk about it.
Yes, I can.
Can you email that over and I'll take a look?
That info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com.
Yeah, and just say, hey, yeah, go ahead.
I tried sending the email, but this bounced back saying the email is not valid or something. I tried sending.
Oh, it's valid. Just maybe here. I'll put it directly in the comments. Maybe you typed it in wrong. I'll put another one in there too. You can send it to both. James@hackingimmigrationlaw.com.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, just make sure to say that you were on the show, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, Yanev. See you, man. All right. Ivan's here. What do you say, Ivan?
Hello. Hi,
buddy.
Jim.
How are you, Ivan?
Doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm fine. So I got two questions for you, but before that, I'd like to give a short brief of my backstory. I've been married twice before I got married. My current wife, and which is citizen, and I met her online. She came to Europe. We start dating. I mean, after that, we decided to get married. So she applied for K1. The K1 was approved. I came in United States, and in 2018, in January, we got married, and I applied for 485. And in 2019, I got my conditional green card.
Great.
So after that, in 2021, I applied for my 751 for removal of conditions.
Sure.
So after exactly 1 year in 2022, in June, I applied for N4 400 for citizenship.
Good.
And that in September, I received the 2 letters with invitation for interview for both forms, 751 and 400.
Which field
And
office?
Oakland Park, which is Miami,
Yep.
Miami, yeah. So, but both of them on the same date and same time. So
Okay.
I passed those, and after that, she sent me a request of additional evidence, because my wife had changed her name before we applied, and I've sent that. So after that, she called us for kind of stock interview. We passed that too. She said just to wait. So now from January this year till now, 8 months, nothing. What you could say as a professional? What should I do? What is my next move? Like, should I sue them or somehow?
Yeah, we're probably going to want to sue them. Now, I'll just say this. You might have heard me say this before, but they don't mess around in Florida. They do not mess around in Florida. So my big question is, why do you think they called you in for a second interview?
I think they had some, some doubts, so I don't know. I mean,
Why? Why do they have doubts?
because as I said, I had 2 marriages before. Maybe I don't. They didn't ask. They asked everything what they wanted on both interviews.
Yeah. And
And
they separated you in the second interview, right?
yes,
Did,
and
did
then she called us back together and asked, you guys have a few discrepancies. Like she asked me about 35, 40 questions. And then
like where's the
she called
toilet
my,
paper? Like where's the toilet paper in the
yeah,
bathroom? Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah. So just on like 5 or 6, we have discrepancy. After that, she called us together back and asked us to explain what we have for these few questions, the discrepancy. We explain her. And looks like she was doing her notes, and that's it. Then after that, she said, just wait, wait, because we're gonna send you an answer through mail, and no more interviews, and just wait. That's it.
So, okay. And so you didn't bring a lawyer to the Stokes interview.
To the Stoke, no.
Okay. And everything's cool with you and your spouse? Have you lived apart at all since you got married?
Actually, I mean, she was living here in the United States, and after I arrived, we lived together. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
We lived together
Yeah,
from the
since then. Yeah, yeah.
date I
And then
arrived here in the United
did
States.
did either of your prior marriages involve immigration at all, or they were just back in the home country?
So the first one was when I've been here in 2009, and I applied for asylum, where I've been with my first wife together. After that, I wrote the letter that, hey, everything is all right in my country, and I left. And after that, I divorced. And the second one, it was in Europe. I mean, doesn't have anything related with immigration. Maybe the first one has something, because I applied for asylum in 2009, and it was together with my first wife.
Where was that in the United States?
That was in Atlanta.
Wait, so
I applied in.
you were here before you came on your K1?
Yes, I been here in 2009 and I left in 2010.
Okay, when you
And
can't. Okay, here now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so this is
Mhm.
what it's all about. This. So let's dig into this. So 2009, you came on a visit visa or something else,
It was J1 visa, the student visa.
like for work and travel.
Yes.
Okay, and so how long were you here on your J1?
1 year and 3 months.
And what country are you from?
I'm from Republic of Moldova.
And so, did you say that during the time you were here on your J1 for 13 months, did you say you applied for asylum?
Yes, and that was after 2 months after I arrived
And whatever happened
on
to
my
that case?
Nothing. Like they invite me for the fingerprints, and I had an interview, and that's it. After that, I was waiting like 9 months, and I left. But before left, I've written a letter to USCIS like that. Hey, everything now it's cool. I mean the political
Situation
party changed, the
changed.
situation changed, so I really can go home. I want to go home. They
Is-
they reply me that okay, you're good to go. We
Was
close
that
the
all?
case.
Was that all true? Like you had a real claim, and then
Yep,
whatever was
yep,
scaring you changed. That okay? And
yep.
then was there a marriage involved in that first trip on the J1?
No, I just like I was married when I applied.
Married when you applied to come?
Yeah, I mean, I got married before apply on that asylum case.
You got married in the United States?
Yes.
Did that person file for an immigration benefit for you?
No. I mean, she was this J1 visa too. We came together and we got married here, and
So
then after 2 months, I applied for the asylum.
and so, but that person, so that person wasn't a U.S. citizen and didn't try to get you a green card.
No.
So the only green card you've ever gotten is through marriage number 3,
Yes.
and marriage number
Correct.
2 had nothing to do with.
Absolutely nothing to do.
When you and your spouse, your current spouse, went to either of your green card interviews, did your asylum case come up at all?
No, at all.
Whatever happened to the woman that you married who was on a J1 as well?
We got divorced in Europe, in Moldova, and that's it. I've never heard
Is
about.
she's still there, you think?
I know. I think she's somewhere in India now.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. You've had your citizenship interview, which means they get 120 days. So that was in January. So February, March, April, May. You could sue them. You could sue them tomorrow. And we filed these lawsuits in Florida. They work freaky fast down in Florida. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I know it's going to be fast. So if we sue them, you'll get a decision on the 751 and the N400 probably in about 30 to 45 days.
And just the last question. Will that affect the decision? Like if I'm trying to push them or sue them, or like I understand that's 50-50. And
No. I've sued them.
no.
I've sued them 1,600 times. And see, what you need to understand is I serve a copy on the local office. So then they go and they look up Ivan's file, they get working on it. But they don't get mad. They're used to it. They get sued all the time. I'm not asking for them to get fired. I'm not asking for money. I'm only asking them to do their job. So it's just a matter of making them go get the file and finish it. They don't take it personally. And the thing is, when on naturalization, there's a specific statute that says you can do it, so they don't get mad.
Okay. So can I file? Can I hire you for that?
Yeah, sure. We've done it. This is what we do all the time. Send me an email. Say, have you called the office at all yet, Ivan, or no?
No, not yet.
Yeah, just send an email now or call. It's info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, or you can call 314-961-8200 and say, I'm Ivan. I was just on the show. And hold on, he's still getting it, I think, Hooli. I think he's still did you get the address? It's info
Yeah, I got it. I've seen it was under.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Bye, buddy. See you, Ivan. All right. That was Ivan. Interesting cases today on Friday. Let's see what Stephanie has to say. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Well, thanks for asking. I have a question for you in as it pertains to waivers. So I have a fiance. The country of origin is Mexico. He has a couple of red flags. When it comes to, his history. I just wanted to know, in your opinion, what do you feel is too many red flags, or um before, you say this case is a non-starter, we can't.
Lay the red flags on me.
Okay, so first red flag I would say is illegal status and illegal reentry.
How many?
The illegal reentry, one. So
So
he had
how many times has he entered the United States without permission?
once,
Just one
once
entry.
after deportation. However,
So
that
so hold on.
sorry.
So how did he get deported the first time? How did he enter before he got deported?
So when he got deported, he had a visa, a tourist visa.
hmm
He was deported because while on that tourist visa, he tried to bring someone else over.
Hmm.
They all got caught. So obviously he was placed into removal proceedings and deported. He returned, obviously illegally. And when he returned, he got into some mischief. He was married at the time. He got into mischief with his former spouse. And because he was here illegally, obviously he's going to be put in proceedings again. But that mischief, it actually garnered him felonies at that time. So we have the illegal reentry, we have the criminal activity prior to the deportation, and then we have the criminal activity with the ex-spouse, and then the deportation again. So I know that there are waivers, but I know there's also only so much a waiver can cure. So I wanted to know, in your opinion, what do you think is like too much, something that's insurmountable?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What do you think?
This is a lot. It's a lot.
It's a ton. Keep going.
So I mean, so that's what I know. So I was gonna the FOIA, but that takes a while, and because he was so distraught when he left the second time, he didn't bring anything back with him. So this is basically like, I have your name, your address, your date of birth, and that's it. I don't have the A number or anything for him. So obviously it will take a while to get, that information back. But just with the little information that we have, well, not a little bit, but just with the information that we have, what would your thoughts be on this?
I think there's a 1% chance of this person coming back to the United States,
Even as a spouse?
even as a spouse. I
Okay.
think it's almost certainly not going to happen.
Okay.
I mean, that embassy's never going to give him a visa. There's no way.
Right, because I'm like, I know that like I can do the I-130 and that'll probably go through, but he still needs the waivers. And I just feel, does every criminal act need its own separate waiver, or is it just like one waiver for everything?
He probably needs both, a 212 and a 601, but
601, right?
yeah, but I think that the smuggling is a big problem. The
Right.
reentry is its own problem. Then the committing crimes inside the United States, I think that's the one they're never going to get past.
Okay, even though it's not like a murder or like, because
Felony
it's
assault.
still CIMT, right?
Huh?
So
Yeah.
okay, I just wanted to know if it's something I like should try to pursue. I know it would be a lot of money to pursue that, and just to see like what the odds were, but like if the odds
I
are
mean,
almost like impossible.
Juarez is a really tough consulate. They've seen this case, the case you're saying now, they've seen many times, and I just think the chances of it coming out well are very small.
Okay, even if like I have an extreme hardship, they don't.
I would say so. I would say even if you had the most extreme hardship, I don't think he's coming.
Okay. Okay. That
Sorry,
was it.
Stephanie. Yeah.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a good weekend.
You as well.
See ya. All right. Aruna's here. Hello, Aruna.
Hello, Jim. So actually, my question is basically, I'm applying for a. I'm from India and I've applied for a, this tourist visa to US, and it's a new immigration that of a website that has been done recently. And so what happened is, my husband is the primary applicant there, and myself and my son is at the dependents. So we took an appointment today, but the appointment was only generated only for the primary applicant. So I wanted to understand, and I also spoke to customer care, the number which was given. So they told me that I'll have to then create my own profile again, and then because the migration would not have done to the new website, so you will have to apply it again as an independent applicant, and take your claim your receipts and everything, and take another this thing appointment. So but I was very skeptical about it, because I was going there as a dependent and not as a mainly primary applicant. So if my husband gets a date, he has a date for tomorrow, day after tomorrow at Chennai. So, and if I get an appointment day a week later, or maybe some days after, how will I be able to pursue it further, because I don't have that much of financial things to take them through, or because I was going as a dependent to him. So
You're talking
I
about you're talking about a visit visa?
yeah, it's a tourist visa.
I have no idea. We don't handle tourist visas. I don't think they're going to give both of you a tourist visa because they're going to think you're not going to come back. I think that one of you might get a visa. I don't think both of you are going to get a visa. But as far as the ins and outs of how visit visas work and spouses and derivatives, we don't handle tourist visas, so I can't help you there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Runa. Sorry about that. All right. Let's say hi to Daria. Daria, you were with us?
Yes, yes, I'm here, Jim. I'm already in the supermarket while I was waiting. Sorry,
It's
I'm
okay.
here. So my question is regarding my 485 status. My 485 status has changed yesterday to your case is closed. The benefit is received. The benefit or status is received by other means. And the other case, it's written, your case remains pending because the visa is not immediately available for you. How do you like explain this message? Your case is closed and the benefit is received by other means. Do you consider it's green, like a green light? It's like a fireworks in application. Do you explain this like a good sign, or how do you treat this?
No sign at all. I don't believe anything on those online updates. It sounds like a mess.
No, I mean, you mean online update on USCIS website?
Yeah, they're wrong all the time.
Okay, so what should I believe? If not
You have two.
official
You have
USCIS site?
you have two. No, you can't believe them. They put wrong things in there all the time. You have two pending 485s.
Yes, I had. Now one is closed, second remains pending.
What were the bases of the ones based on what, marriage to a green card holder?
No, one is based on 140, and second is based on second 140. And one of those 140 is approved, and second one is denied. So that we tried to transfer old 485 for new underlying base. So I don't know if they transferred or not, but they just showed that about this
So
old one,
so
the case is
so
closed.
so you have filed two I-140s, but only one 485.
No, two 485 and two 140.
Okay, you're just gonna have to wait to see what happens. I can't predict what all those online portal updates mean. Those things are wrong all the time, and you probably confuse them with two I-140s.
No, one is already dead a lot of time ago, and second is approved in January. It's officially approved. We got approval notification, everything. Approval paper, yes, came by mail.
So
Uh,
how far are you from the visa becoming current on the approved I-140?
we are 6 months far because right now visa bulletin is on 1st April 2022, and priority date for approved 140 is 7th of August, or 7th of October 2022. So
And you,
actually 6 months and 1 week.
and you tried to grab the priority date from the first I-140?
Yes, we like tried to, I don't know how to say explain. We send them a letter, attorney send them a letter like trying to transfer old 485 to the new underlying base.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I
Uh,
think you're just waiting.
but they did not deny old 485. Just
Yeah, I
like
think
says it's closed and benefit received. This is what confuses me. How they say benefit received? Looks like, and we already applied everything, our medicals, our bona fide marriage stuff,
Daria,
everything they asked.
Daria, every day I read official publications, official notices that have mistakes in them all the time. I don't think you can put any stock in that online update. I don't. I just
So we should wait for mail or something.
you,
What we can trust to.
you have to wait for the priority date to become current. I don't think anything is going to happen till then.
Okay. So do you think we will receive a mail about this notice, like your case is closed or not?
I have no idea.
I got it. Okay. Anyways, thanks for
Bye, Daria.
explaining.
See ya. All right, everybody. That'll do it for today's show. We'll be back next week on Tuesday, episode number 410. I hope you all have a great weekend. If you have 60 seconds and you could leave us a 5-star review, reviewhackinglaw.com, we'd appreciate it. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and we'll